Welcome to Scoremia. I will tell you a movie, The Time Machine. The story begins on a campus in 1899, showing the busy lives of students and a lecturer. He is Dr. Alexander Hartdagen. He is a science professor and inventor who believes that a real time machine can be made. Still in a campus study room, when Professor Alexander was solving complex mathematical formulas, he was greeted by his friend, David, and reminded that the professor have a dating appointment with his fiancée. Alex realized it too. He then immediately went home with David. At home, Alex dresses neatly, chooses cool watch accessories, and that night he goes straight to a park to meet Emma, his future wife. That night he looked very happy. Emma, his fiancée, also looks very beautiful. When Alex presented Emma with a wedding ring, unexpectedly, a robber approached them and asked for some money, including their precious wedding rings. They tried to defend themselves, but unfortunately, Emma was shot and died immediately on the spot. The professor's happy moment was over. It had become a bad night for him. 4 years have passed. Alexander is still frustrated. He is still thinking about Emma's death. In the midst of that condition, Alex tried his best in mind to make something happen. A time machine. The goal is only one: back in time 4 years ago, and save his girl from death. His efforts to create a time machine have been successful. Alex gets into the machine, starts it to take him back in time. Alex meets his girlfriend again. Unexpectedly, reality turned bad again. Emma still dies that night, but in a different way. Alex is really messed up. He explains to David that he has made it to the past 4 years when Emma was still alive, but he can't change destiny. Alex had even watched Emma die many times in different ways. David feels confused and doesn't believe Alex. This time Alex's desperation made him give up. He abandoned his intention to save Emma. He used the time machine to go to the future. The machine works perfectly, changing space and time, jumping tens of years in just a few minutes. It only took a few minutes. Alex has arrived in 2030. He was stunned watching world advancement, which is modern and growing rapidly. Alex walked into a library. He met with Vox, a virtual human figure in a digital mirror. Alex is still amazed by such technology. After talking a few things in the library, Alex returns to the time machine and travels forward several years later. Just jumped a few years. Suddenly the engine shook. He stopped it. 2037. In this year, the Earth is experiencing great chaos. Alex saw an amazing sight. The moon is cracking and is about to shatter. He asked the soldiers, what happened? They said that there was an explosive device belonging to the lunar colonies that are disrupting the orbit, and that will make the moon explode and shatter. Alex was really scared. He then rushed back into the time machine when the Earth was also unstable. Luckily, he managed to start the engine, but because the Earth was shaking, he hit and fainted inside the machine. The machine was out of control. It kept spinning until hundreds of thousands of years later. The engine keeps turning, transcending the various seasons. Even the shape of the Earth's surface has changed thousands of times. In a semi-conscious state, Alex turned off the machine, and the number shown on the termination is the 16th of July in the year 802,701. When Alex fainted again, he was helped by someone and taken to a mysterious house. The room in the house, at first glance, it looks like the interior of a house from ancient times. Alex was fully awake, and he was surprised when he looked down. There was only seawater. The houses in those days looked like shells and were built on rock cliffs. Earth has gone through a great change. Instead of being more advanced, but it has changed to be like in ancient times, even though it was the year 802,701. The language of the people at that time was strange. People call it the Lex, or stone language. Luckily, he meets Mara, a beautiful woman who understands English. She explained to Alex that she had studied English since she was a child, and she was a language teacher at that time. Alex also tried to explain to Mara that he comes from the same area, but not from the present. He came from the past, 800,000 years ago, with a time machine. Mara laughed at Alex like she couldn't believe it, and she announced to the people there until they laughed together. Night has come, they rush to rest in a shell house. Alex was still fascinated and amazed by that era. He looked up at the sky and observed at the pieces of the moon that had been shattered for hundreds of thousands of years. They sit and talk. Mara is a warm person and knowledgeable. During the conversation, Mara secretly believes Alex's story about time travel, even though she laughs it off at first. In the morning, Mara takes Alex for a walk, rowing a canoe. Mara wants to show the whereabouts of the professor's time machine. Alex checked his time machine immediately. Everything is intact and it works perfectly. Suddenly, they heard the scream of a strange creature. Mara and Alex ran to save themselves. The monsters are called Morlocks. They hunt humans, blow poison arrows to paralyze their prey. Morlocks took the hunted humans into the sandy mud. Alex, who was still confused at that time, climbed onto a windmill made of bamboo. The monster also climbed. Alex kicked Morlocks down and continued to fight. Suddenly Kalen, the Mara's younger brother, brought a torch and pointed it at the Morlocks. Morlocks fled in fear. However, bad luck encountered Mara. She was caught and brought into the sandy mud. Alex has not been able to save her. Alex asked the people where the monster had taken Mara, but the people chose to remain silent and did not want to answer. They don't even want to fight those creatures. Kalen then tells Alex about a place he calls a ghost nest. They both went through the forest and came to a cave. Alex was surprised again. The contents of the cave was apparently a library that he had visited in 2030. Not only that, Vox, the virtual human, is still there after hundreds of thousands of years. Alex asked Vox what had happened so far. Vox replied that there were now two different types of species that had evolved. The monster-like race is the Morlock, and the second race is the Eli, or normal humans. They left the cave. Both of them continued into the forest, looking for traces of Morlock. They arrived in front of a large iron skull. Alex advised Kalen to wait outside. Alex went into the Morlock's cave alone. He then witnessed Morlock's activities there. They were busy and working, like they were forging and build something. Alex continues to explore the tunnel in the Morlock's cave. He enters a room. After seeing a few sharp weapons in a room, Alex realizes that the Morlocks make human flesh as their food. Alex tripped and fell into a well filled with human bones. Alex was very scared and tried to get out from that dreadful pool. Morlocks found out. Alex was arrested and locked in a room. Mara was also locked there. In the cave room, Alex met a person with long white hair. His name was Uber, the leader of the Morlocks. He controls all the other Morlocks. He even has telepathic powers and is able to reach Alex's mind. Uber already knows Alex's arrival, and Alex's time machine has been kept in that cave. Uber told Alex to take the machine and get out of his world. Alex complied. But that is just a trick. Alex drags Uber into his machine and starts fighting. The machine keeps spinning and rushes into the far future. When Uber choked Alex, Alex pushed Uber out of the machine. Alex accelerates the engine speed. And Uber's body that sits outside the machine ends up aging rapidly and vanished into the dust. When Alex turned the engine off, it turns out that he has surpassed hundreds of millions of years later and witnessed the condition of the Earth that is similar to hell. Here, Alex did not get off the machine. He reversed the gear engine and returned to meet Mara. He released Mara from the cage and jammed the time machine with his watch, then ran to find the exit of the cave with her. Finally, the machine, which was running at high speed, stopped and exploded, creating a time dilation around the cave. The remaining Morlocks were also destroyed. The time dilation effect of the machine cracked a valley. Alex, Mara, and people managed to save themselves. Now, Alex doesn't have a time machine, and he has intended to live in that time with Mara and create a new civilization for the future Earth. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.